Hey YouTube, it's Jaden Storm coming back at you, and as you know, I do a lot of Vanguard stuff on this channel. I've done deck profiles, I've done discussions, I've done tips, I've done matches, I've done do's and don'ts, I've done tips how to make you a better player, I've described why Vanguard's the best TCG game there is to play, and I've also thrown in a lot of extra random shit just for fun discussions, and this one I thought would be something else that would be fun to do that I don't believe I've done, and it is, I have decided to do my top 10 list of my top 10 favorite video game characters. I know I've done top 10 video games, but I've never done top 10 video game characters. So, I'm going to give you my top 10 favorite video characters, and then in the comment section below, I'd like you to give me maybe a few of your favorites, or maybe your top 5, or just something like that. Be fun just to kind of compare and see what we got here. Number 10, Bowser from Mario series. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, first rattle out of the gate, and this guy's favorite video game character is a bad guy. Guys, think about Bowser for a second. This bastard is persistent, okay? How many Mario games have there been? And it's pretty much the same thing. Bowser wants to take over the world, so what does he do? He goes kidnaps this girl Peach, who you'd think Mario would learn to put a leash on his bitch for at the time being, because it seems like at the beginning of every game she gets swept away, and it's like, where's Mario? Nowhere to be seen. You know, so you know what? I'll give the reason Bowser gets number 10 on this list, because he, like the Roadrunner, Wily in the Roadrunner cartoon, he is one of the most persistent sons of bitches I've ever seen in my life. So you know what, Bowser? You're number 10 on my list. I love you, and you know what? I think Bowser has always looked really cool. Hell, he's the only character I use in Mario Kart. So, anyway, number 10, Bowser. Number 9, Daxter from the game series Jak and Daxter. I'm talking about the first 3, not that piece of crap fourth one we got that was terrible. The Daxter, in my opinion, was the best character in the Jak and Daxter series because he was the comedy relief. He was the little animal that looked kind of like a cross between a chipmunk and a rabbit, and he was hilarious, he was funny, he always had the best one-liners, he always had the sexual comments in an E-rated game that would fly over most little kids' heads. He was just hilarious. And at the end of the series, you find out that he is the god that you've been hearing about throughout the whole series, or he's one of, or the descendants of these gods that they are preaching about throughout the whole 3 games. And it's just awesome. And I love Daxter, and I play the games literally just to hear him. Not to say Jak is not cool. If this was top 11, he would get the number 11 spot. But Number 9 goes to Daxter. Number 8, Shadow the Hedgehog. Another bad guy character, and also the guy who is the symbol for this channel. Shadow the Hedgehog, in my opinion, is not a bad guy. He just does things that make him a bad guy. And by that, what I mean, he is willing to do whatever it takes to achieve whatever he wants. If you remember in the cartoon series, originally he was just doing what he could to protect a girl. And he didn't care what he had to do in order to do that. And if it meant he was an outcast or a bad guy, then he did it. And I think that right there proves that he's a good guy, that he's willing to do whatever it takes to save someone that he cares about, whether that is an order or not. And Shadow, he was just a badass. Sonic, oh, you got little rings, I have a motorcycle, I have guns, Shadow the Hedgehog was just awesome. And if you've ever played, I know people have made fun of those PlayStation games, but the Shadow the Hedgehog PlayStation game, his theme music on that is pretty badass. Number 7, Sora from Kingdom of Hearts. I was not real sure about Kingdom of Hearts when they first came out. I thought it would be a little cheesy-ish, and then when I was still very young when the game came out, I was at a movie store with my mother once, and I would always go over to the video game section, and she'd let me rent one, and I decided to say, hey, what the hey, I'll rent Kingdom Hearts. I ended up taking it home, playing it, and the very next day, I went back down to the store and used some of my birthday money, and ended up buying the game. I mean, it was just so fun. You got to see all these characters that you grew up with Mickey Mouse, and Goofy, and Donald, and Tarzan, and all these characters that you just grew up with, and it's kind of like a trip down memory lane, but with an amazing story. And they throw in Final Fantasy characters, who you might hear. If anybody on this channel knows me, you should know who my favorite video game character is already. Number 6, Starkiller from the Star Wars Force Unleashed games. Guys, this guy is the definition of a badass. This guy has enough power, he can pull a starship out of the fucking sky while he's standing on a planet and the ship's in space. This guy literally went head-to-head with Vader many times and almost killed him to the point where Vader could barely breathe. This guy, he is just so cool. You know, at age 4, when he's kidnapped by Vader, he was able to pull Vader's blade out of his hand, you know, and you know, he was just so cool, you know, and he had the perfect mix of bad boy and just awesomeness, you know. It was in the first game, even when you're being a bad guy and you're killing all these other Jedi, you can't help but love him because of his just his presence and his personality and just the way he is. He is just so awesome. I've read that they're going to make a third one. I hope they do now that Disney finally bought the Star Wars franchise, and we know what money whores Disney is, so I'm pretty sure there will be a third one. Number 5, Tidus from Final Fantasy X. This is probably my second favorite Final Fantasy of all time. If you know me, you know what my first one is. But Final Fantasy X, it is probably one of the most romantic stories I've ever heard, and I'm not meaning that. I'm not trying to oversell it. I mean, this really is an amazing story, guys. In the short, this guy, he is a guardian to this woman who is traveling from temple to temple, and she's praying at these temples to learn how to fight this creature that is destroying their world. But he finds out that at the very end, when she goes to the final temple and she receives this power, that in order to use this power, it has to kill the person who uses it. And he, throughout this whole game, tries to find out a way to make it to where she can't die, because he slowly and slowly starts falling in love with her, and at the very end of the game, you find out he never really existed. He was just a dream of their religion. It would make sense if you play the game, but you know how we have Christians and we have our God. I mean, I'm an atheist personally, but you know how that is like that? Okay, well, to them, their religion is called, it's called, what is it called? Crap. Total mind drain here. It's called the faith. Like, when they say the faith, it's the same as us saying our God. And they basically tell Tidus, you were created for just no reason. You were created mainly out of just our thoughts and dreams. And at the very end, when you defeat this awesome creature that has been blowing up city after city, you're going to be taken away from the woman that you have fallen in love with, and that she has fallen in love with you, but because of what she is, a priest, a summoner, she can't fall in love with you because they're forbidden to love, because they're going to die anyway, supposedly. And at the very end, when she realized that she now can be with him, he disappears. I mean, it is the most beautiful love story I've ever heard and I've ever seen. I really wish, because if you play the second part to this game, he does come back at the end if you get 100%. I wish and hope that they do a third part. There's been rumors that they are. I think if they do, it could possibly be the #1 Final Fantasy of all time, and that, you know, and that's hard for me to say, considering what my favorite one is. And if you know me, you already know what my favorite video game is of all time. And that, if you know what my favorite video game of all time is, you should know who my favorite character is. Number 4, Sly Cooper. I think all of us deep down wish that we were a raccoon with a cool little outfit with a mask and a cane that has all these magical abilities, could just wander all over the place and just take whatever we want, and we get away with it just because we're so goddamn cute. I mean, Sly Cooper, he's the perfect good guy. He doesn't steal because it's fun for him. He steals because he steals from bad people. He's kind of like Robin Hood, and he's got the perfect mix of like that James Bond swag and just sweet talk, and he's got that perfect mix of badass in him, you know what I mean? He's just the perfect mix, and it's just an amazing 3 games, and like the Jak and Daxter series, they tried to make a 4th and bombed, but the first 3 Sly Cooper games are so awesome. I love the Sly Cooper games. He is so funny, and just an amazing game series, and I still play it to this day. Number 3, Fox McCloud. If you don't know who that is, you might know him by this name. From the Star Fox trilogy, the leader. His name was not Star Fox, it was Fox McCloud. Fox McCloud is so awesome, guys. He is like, he's, you know, I don't know what it was. I think it's every little boy wants to fly, you know, when they're little. They want to either fly a plane or they literally want to fly by them, literally just take off and start flying, you know. I always wanted to be Fox McCloud growing up. I wanted to have the cool brown hair and that white strip and that cool armor and gear and the cool ship. I mean, I was just so fascinated with Fox McCloud. You know, I love him to death, and I saw this guy on this channel. He had a Fox McCloud game mat, and I messaged him, please tell me where you got that, because I want it, and he still hasn't messaged me back, but I really hope he does, because I really wanted that mat. And, but Fox McCloud is amazing. While I have you guys, if any of you want to create me a Fox McCloud mat, Star Fox theme mat, and send me it, I would very much appreciate that. And so if you wanted to do something nice or whatever, feel free to send me that, because I love Fox McCloud. So, number 3, Fox McCloud. And currently, you can't tell, but Fox McCloud's my background. Number 2, and also, I think he is one of... Okay, because out of all 10 of these characters, I only mentioned 2 characters from one video game twice, and this is the first one. At number 2, who's also from the Mario series, it's not Mario, it's not Luigi, it's not Peach, it's Yoshi. Yoshi is, this is going to sound real weird coming from me, but Yoshi's a frickin' G, okay guys? Who gets all the credit through all the Mario games? Mario. Who gets all the, oh Mario, you saved me, you're a hero? Mario. And Yoshi, who helps Mario through almost everything, gets jack shit. That's not fair. Yoshi's awesome, guys. Super Mario World on the original Super Nintendo is the reason I played that game. It was also Yoshi's debut. I mean, it was just, and Yoshi's Island. Remember where you play as Yoshi through the whole game and you got to take baby Mario from one side of the world to the next? I mean, Yoshi is literally awesome, guys. He is a dinosaur. He can eat anything and turn it into an egg. He can shoot eggs. He can jump. And on Yoshi's Island, I always thought it was funny when he tried to jump, and if you held in the B button he went, and he like kicked his feet and he got a little higher. I mean, Yoshi was just awesome. My number one favorite video game character from my number one favorite video game of all time, Final Fantasy VII. You guessed it, it's Cloud Strife. Cloud Strife is the ultimate warrior. He is the ultimate protagonist while also a guy who deep down hates himself, you could say. He's never happy. He's a mercenary, if you will, in the beginning of 7. He literally just works for whoever will pay him. He is depressed, he has a troubled past, and his rival doesn't even want to kill him. He just wants to make him suffer. So, you know, Cloud, in my opinion, he's just, and guys, keep in mind, if you've ever seen any of the battles that Cloud has had with his rival Sephiroth, he has been impaled on swords while being held in the air, pulled himself off the sword, and then has somehow been able to win a fight. This guy is a badass. I'd say Cloud Strife could fight head-to-head with Starkiller, and I'd pick Cloud Strife. I saw on a what is that fucking YouTube channel called, Death Battles, Link versus Cloud. That was bull fucking shit. Cloud would beat Link on his best day. That was bull crap. I don't care what you say. You take away everything from Link except his sword and his shield, and he wouldn't stand a fucking chance. And you know what? Give him all of his weapons, and he still wouldn't stand a chance. Cloud is the ultimate badass. Fuck you, Link. That's how I feel about that. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. In the comment section below, give me your video game top 10 character list if you'd like, or just give me your top 3 or top 5, or whatever you feel like sharing or disagreeing with me. I do not care. I like hearing your comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up the channel and this video for me, guys. Really appreciate it, and I will see you later.